Hey everybody, it's Cauliflower Man here, and I'm bringing you guys a video today that, it's gonna be probably unpopular, but if you've looked at all my videos, they're probably all unpopular. One thing I want to point out is if you look at the picks I've made, I've only made one video that was, advising people what I'm purchasing, different things that I was buying. I said my three to buy were Zcoin, Zencash, and Pivx. Zcoin and Zencash have been doing phenomenal. Pivx is not. So 2 out of 3 is not bad. I also said watch Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash has been doing phenomenal. A couple more predictions I made. Chainlink, I said it was going to tank. It tanked. Uh, ARK, I said it's not a very good investment. It's not been doing all that great, but that was more of a long-term prediction. ARK is not in the same boat as Chainlink in that it was completely shit. Well, I mean, I think it's in the same boat that it is completely shit, but it's going to take longer for people to realize because it's a little more complicated. Um, and then if you look at this one wasn't a video, but someone posted a comment on Vertcoin, what's behind the sudden price movement on Vertcoin, and I said, I think Vertcoin's going to do decent in the long term, but short term I expect a pullback, and I think it's dropped from $5 to $3. So I'm getting a lot of this shit right. I just really want to throw this out there. There are very few things that I'm missing. Oh, one other one that I said, be very careful if you want to invest in is Coin. Coin has been getting punished. It's been getting pummeled. It's been getting wrecked. So, when I've made that many predictions and a lot of these are getting right, you really have to start realizing, and I'm not trying to say everything I say is right. I'm just saying what is correct is almost always, not what everyone expects. So that doesn't mean do the opposite of what everyone's doing, because in the world of investing, what does that mean? If everyone says buy Bitcoin, what's the opposite? You know, it's buy something else, but you don't necessarily know. I'm just saying your average investor is not intelligent, and so they're going to get crushed time and time again. So you can't be looking to what everyone is saying in the community because you're just going to lose out. You're going to lose your shirt. But I want to talk about why the Bitcoin price is unjustifiable in this video. It really makes no fucking sense. Like, it makes no fucking sense whatsoever if you think about it. Now, I'm not saying don't invest in Bitcoin at this price. Like, I would not invest in Bitcoin at this price, but I don't like to tell people what to do with their money. Um, I'm waiting for the pullback. I'm completely waiting for the pullback. This price makes no fucking sense. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin in a really good way, but the price makes no fucking sense. Why does the price make no sense? Well, Bitcoin adoption has not changed whatsoever. I'm sure you've seen this around. It's been floating around. This is a picture of the daily transactions with Bitcoin for basically the past year. There's no uptrend whatsoever. So a lot of people will say there's a couple different things you can argue against why the transaction volume is not increasing. One, the price of Bitcoin is increasing, so you can say, well, if the price increases, these transactions represent transfers of more money. The reason why I'd say that's not correct, because this is just the raw data of transactions. So even if people are transacting in smaller amounts, there should be more transactions if it's being adopted, and there's not. So it's really not being adopted. The second thing is, and this is more of a serious reason why people aren't doing transactions, is the fee issue. So Bitcoin fees are like $5 right now. So why the hell would you make transactions if it's going to cost you $5? That makes no sense at all. And then I guess moving on to the third issue for transactions, that would be the fact that a lot of people are viewing Bitcoin as a store of value rather than a currency, and that's fine. But if Bitcoin does not become a currency and if it does not get used for transactions, daily, then the price makes no fucking sense. There actually was a professor who came out recently, and this was sort of rare because it's very rare for certain for mainstream people to have good analyses or analyses. I don't know exactly how you say that word. Is it analyses or analyses? I would think it's analyses. This guy had a good analysis of the Bitcoin price, and he's like, the Bitcoin price is justifiable if it gets used as a currency. Okay, so if you look at the World Fact Book for the CIA, um, and you look at the base money for different countries, Bitcoin's getting near, like Bitcoin's at 120 billion. The base money in Israel is 189 billion. Now, this doesn't include derivatives, stocks and bonds, and all that stuff. But like I said, Bitcoin's not even being used for transactions. So it's getting as big as currencies. Like, I don't know how many people live in Israel, but it's a pretty rich country. It's getting near that. It's getting near the price of base currency in Denmark. How does this make any fucking sense? Like, if you go up the list a little bit, Russia's at at 600 billion. There's like 150 million people in Russia. How the hell is Bitcoin, which is not being used as a currency, it's not being used for transactions, how is this getting close to the price of major world powers' base currency? How the fuck does that make any sense? Does someone want to figure that one out for me? Like, that makes no fucking sense whatever. Okay. The other thing, like, very few people buy and sell goods with Bitcoin. The majority of transactions you see on that transaction graph are exchanges. So it's being used as an investment vehicle. I've said this. It's being used as an investment vehicle and as a store of value. But it's not being used to buy and sell goods, okay? Who do you know who has ever bought and sold goods with Bitcoin? If you know somebody, they probably bought and sold drugs. Now, I don't have an issue with that. I've said this before. America was built as a smuggling colony. That's what America was. If you don't like smuggling, then you're not an American. You're an un-American communist faggot. Make whatever word up you want for it. But if you don't like smuggling, and if you're like, oh, we gotta stop them smugglers, then you're not an American, period. Okay, you're not an American, so shut your commie mouth. But very few people buy and sell goods with Bitcoin besides the smuggling aspect, and even the smuggling thing, like, there's not much that they're doing. When Bitcoin was first coming out, it was sort of like, I'm a crypto anarchist, so I saw the value in the sort of crypto anarchist transactions you can do with Bitcoin, and a lot of people are like, oh, that's just drugs, and I'm like, no, 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 that's anything that the government says is supposed to be illegal. So there's a lot of banking services you can do through Bitcoin if you learn how to use it the way a crypto anarchist would. I want to make videos on that because that's a good way to make money for some people. You have to be very entrepreneurial to do it. It's not easy, but I want to make some videos on that. But just for a quick example of how to use Bitcoin in a crypto anarchist way to create businesses, in a lot of states, selling raw milk is completely illegal. So let's say you're a raw milk provider or a producer, and they made raw milk illegal, and you already have customers, and they're willing to pay for it, but you don't want to use the dollar for it because then everyone knows that you're getting paid. Like, if you get paid with the US dollar for raw milk and it's illegal, the trail is right there because you used the US dollar. Well, if you were going to use, if you learned how to use encryption, and if you learned how to use different operating systems that don't store any of your memory, like Tails, things like that. If you learn to use Bitcoin and cryptography and encryption in the way crypto anarchists know how to do it, then you could easily do this. You could have a business and have it all protected through the power of cryptography, including your sales, and you could have a business running, and you could have customers, and there'd be no way for anyone to prove that you were actually selling the raw milk. They could prove that you're producing it, but it's not illegal to produce, it's illegal to sell, and so you could produce it fine, and then everyone would know you're selling it, but they wouldn't have any proof of it. So these are like the big things. Like, this is where Bitcoin should be taking off, is places where the government makes something illegal, and then the citizenry is just like, fuck off, you stupid communist faggots who run this country. This is America. Go fuck yourself. That's what Bitcoin was originally designed for. It was designed to basically say fuck off to the government because you're a bunch of stupid, retarded communists. We're going to do this our own way because we're a lot more intelligent than you. But people aren't doing that, okay? It's not happening. Part of it, I think, is because of the fact that millennials on the right and left, people like to call people on the left new males, but the right is a bunch of new males as well. They're a bunch of faggots who, they looked at the election of Donald Trump, and don't get me wrong, I'm so glad it was Donald Trump rather than Hillary Clinton. But, Donald Trump has already lied and betrayed his voters on every issue. He said that when he was running for president, he's like, the actual unemployment rate is 22%. And then as soon as he gets elected, he never talks about that again. He's like, unemployment rate is now 5%, even though nothing had changed. He said he's going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. That's not happening. He's probably never even going to build the wall, but Mexico's sure as hell not paying for it. He said he's going to balance the budget in 8 years. That's not happening. He's got deficits, basically. Like, he's the biggest spending president ever. People are like, he's a free market president. He's the biggest spending president ever. Okay, he's a lying sack of shit. And the problem is with this, and the reason why I'm bringing this up again is because millennial new males are like, oh, God, Emperor Trump, he's gonna save me. It's like, save yourself, you fucking pussy. Like, I can't stand that with people like, oh, I voted, that's how I'm gonna save my country. It's like, no, you're not, you fucking dumbass. You could save your country today, but you're too much of a pussy to actually take any action. You just sit on your ass because it's easy. But that's the millennial new male problem. And so I think that also applies to Bitcoin, where, in the early days of Bitcoin, you had people like Cody Wilson, who was literally, like, he was creating a 3D printable gun so that your Second Amendment right could never get taken away. Now, he ran into issues with that because there are price issues with making a 3D printable gun, and then you can only use it so many times because he was using it with, like, plastics, with 3D printing done with plastics, and so the gun would overheat and it would end up like you could only shoot it so many times. But that's what it like. That's the difference between a crypto anarchist is somebody who actually like they take an action that can never be reversed. Okay, but Cody Wilson was creating a gun that someone could print from their home. That's making sure that no one ever loses the right to the Second Amendment. And then you got all these millennial new male faggots who are like, I'm gonna vote for God Emperor Trump and then hope that if I ask him permission, he'll give me my God-given rights back. You don't ask permission for your fucking rights, you faggots. You take them, okay? You don't ask for permission. You take it. But again, like, I don't know, millennial new males, I don't understand that mentality. But like when it comes to Bitcoin, it's not really being used, and you really need to understand this for its price. But going on, the Bitcoin wallets, they're still not user friendly. Um, your average person, if they were download the Bitcoin Core wallet, would be fucking terrified, and for good reason. Like, what happens if you lose your Bitcoin? Well, you have to have it backed up. They would understand that bit, but then if you showed them how to recover a wallet on the Bitcoin Core wallet, that would terrify them. Just like, oh, replace the wallet.dat file. They'd be like, what the heck? There are wallets out there that you have like just a GUI where you can click a button and recover a wallet and restore a wallet, like Armory does that. But Armory right now, for anyone who wants to use Armory, do not download the ATI Technologies version. You have to have the version past 93.3. I don't know what the current version is, but it's actually run by a guy off Bitcoin Talk who goes by the name of the Goat Pig or something like that. I don't remember his exact name, but Armory is actually a good wallet software, but you can't create paper wallets with the Bitcoin Core wallet. There's so much shit you can't do. And I've talked about this with different cryptocurrencies that are blockchain applications plus a cryptocurrency. Nobody's building blockchain applications, and this makes no fucking sense for me because a lot of people will compare the Bitcoin bubble to the dot-com bubble. Well, when the dot-com bubble came out, there were a lot of applications that your average user could use. They didn't come out with companies and say, we've got no applications, we got no nothing. They might have had very low sales, but they would actually come out with applications. Absolutely nobody is building applications for, Bitcoin. Like, the Bitcoin wallet sucks a dick, and who's making new Bitcoin wallets? Basically nobody. Part of that has to do with the fact, again, that transaction fees are so high, but, because, like, I guess the reason why transaction fees have an issue on the wallets is because the way you'd want to build a wallet is so that you would have a microtransaction of like 1 cent to 2 cent going to the creator of the wallet for every transaction done through that wallet. But they can't do that with transaction fees at $5 because that'd be an extra $5 that you have to pay per transaction for the other transaction address that's going on. But so you can't do that. So that's it. Like, if the wallet's not user friendly, if your average person can't use the wallet and they can't use it safely in a secure way that doesn't make them nervous as hell, why the hell are they going to use it? I don't think that they will. I can tell you, like, I can do basically everything with a Bitcoin wallet. But I still don't like it. Like, I've been wondering for so long, and it's been like this for years, guys, for years. Not for a few months, not for a few weeks. When the dot-com bubble came out, you were coming out with new things every week. This has been like this for years. The wallet is not good. It is not good. At least it's not good enough that it could be accepted for mainstream adoption. Like, there's no way in hell. No way in hell. Okay? the next point goes back to this wallet too. The upgrades are coming very slowly. So where's a new wallet that could be used mainstream for widespread adoption? Does it exist? No. I mean, Armory. If you look at Bitcoin Armory, that's a pretty fucking good wallet. Like that's a phenomenal wallet, but it doesn't have like a company behind it. It's just volunteers. Like it's a guy on the Bitcoin Talk forums that has taken over it, and he's a badass. Like he's a complete badass, the goat pig or whatever he is. But you know, that's where Bitcoin's at right now, and they're trying to say the value of its currencies should be equal to that of Israel. However the fuck you're supposed to figure that one out. Doesn't make any sense to me. The other thing with the Bitcoin upgrades, it's like Bitcoin Lightning. Where's this shit at? It's been talked about for like 3-4 years now. How does it take that long to come out with one application for a cryptocurrency? Like, I don't understand that at all. If someone can explain to me in the comments how it can take like, I don't know, is it going to take a decade to come out with Bitcoin Lightning and why? Can someone explain that to me? The upgrades just aren't coming. And then final point I want to talk about is that businesses that were once accepting Bitcoin, they're now rejecting it. There's fewer businesses that accept Bitcoin today than there were 2 years ago. Again, a lot of this just goes back to the transaction fees and the transaction volume. People don't actually use Bitcoin. It's used as an investment vehicle, as a store of value, and that's fine. That's fine. It's completely fine. Even when just used as a store of value, the price of Bitcoin will still hit, like at least 25,000. But it's never going to hit $1 million per Bitcoin, if it's not used as a currency. And it can be used as a currency, but the thing that it's just not coming through. It's not coming through. Okay, and again, I'm not saying, the price will never go higher. I've said this in a million videos. I expect the price to hit at least 100,000 in my lifetime. Like I would almost bet my life on it. It'll hit 50,000. I just don't know how it's getting this high at this point in time. Like that makes no fucking sense to me. It makes no sense whatever. If someone can try and explain it in the comments, you can go for it. But like again, I want to compare this to the dot-com bubble because people who are against Bitcoin say it's like the dot-com bubble and it's going to burst, and then people who are for Bitcoin say, yeah, but the dot-com bubble was way bigger and the economy was way smaller back then. But again, if you look at the dot-com bubble, there's actually a lot of good shit in the dot-com bubble, and it was coming out with new things every fucking day. What's new in cryptocurrencies? Not really anything. The one thing that really mirrors the dot-com bubble is all these cryptos that say, oh, we're building blockchain applications, whether it's Ripple, Neo, Arc, whatever. Like a lot of those guys, they're going to get completely fucking crushed. Those are the guys who you want to stay away from if you want to avoid getting crushed. Now, obviously, I expect some of them to succeed. I don't expect any of them that currently exist to succeed, just because I've never, obviously I haven't researched all of them, but I've never seen one that seemed worthwhile as far as the blockchain application cryptos go. They all seem to kind of suck, but those, that one is very much mimicking the dot-com bubble. But Bitcoin, you can't compare it to the dot-com bubble's boom, because there's not new shit coming out for it. It's a bunch of the same old shit every fucking year, every fucking day, same old, same old, same old. But anyways, that's my thought on the Bitcoin price. Again, I've said for this run up, it could hit 10K, it could even hit 15K. I don't know. It's just at a price now that I'm definitely not putting any more money into Bitcoin whatsoever. I'm looking for alts. I'm looking for other cryptos. If you're looking for something just like Bitcoin that's not Bitcoin at a lower price, go for Bitcoin Cash. I just don't see why on earth anyone would pay this amount of money for Bitcoin when its applications sort of suck and so does its adoption. Again, I think a lot of these people who are buying Bitcoin at this price have never used the wallet themselves. I don't really know, or they use third-party wallets, so they're not actually, they don't actually understand Bitcoin. That's the only people who I think are buying at this price. But anyways, that's the end of this video. There will be more videos coming out. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more.